beckoning us in. Let's get started with this best of 5 final.
And we've got MarineLorD spawning in with the French in the northwest blue corner of the map. Looks like both of his tree lines are actually behind his base up there. With Beastyqt on the east side, we see those berries we're kind of wondering about to the kind of northeast. He is going to start on the berries. Sometimes you do see Abbasid players opening up by going for the sheep, but when you're up against the French, it's better to eat those berries early on just to be a little safe. You can come back and eat the sheep later.
Yeah, and Beasty's got a very interesting spawn. Variable options in a weird way here, actually. Like, if you play to the back corner, it's a little bit risky. It's actually a little bit of a bait. I think you're actually better off potentially trying to posture aggressive with TC. It sounds weird against the French, but I think people will heavily underrate the power of the Abbasids. If they start going hard into horsemen and camel archers, they can somewhat overwhelm the French. And camel archers are always a good shout, because what do the French always end up doing? They always go for their raw knights, and you are heavily discounting their strongest unit by going into those camels.
And do you think MarineLorD will do kind of a Archer Knight push really aggressively in the second age, or do you think he'll go for a little more boomy, perhaps go for a second town center?
I could see a second town center being viable, especially because if you look on the south side, he's got double deer close together, stone crawls out that way, gold berries. There's a lot of viability behind playing that area to inflate your aggression in the mid game. I expect a prolonged feudal. The question mark is, how is Beasty going to respond? Is it going to be that massive horseman, or are we going to see a flurry of TCs that could mean he's always defending?
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've definitely seen in these final series, definitely a lot of these French matchups. On the ladder, you might see a lot of players going for, archery range, knights, and just sending everything they got with rams at the enemy. But in these pro games, I feel like it's been mostly, a dabbling of knights raiding in while doing some eco play behind that.
Yeah, the reason why we don't see the Archer Knight mass as much anymore is because French players have got better at just eco-exploitation via pocket economies in the secondary TC. So the whole idea is you just use Knights to dictate where the front line is. You don't look to end the game because you can prolong the game, and you can do so from an efficient point. And the cool thing about doing it this way with the French is they reach a beneficial transition to Castle Age. You don't want to just castle rush as the French. You want to go up to Castle with, say, 20 Knights in the field and 15 archers, because then you're able to have the option of maybe going Royal Institute, or at least buffing your strongest unit by a substantial margin. That's what I'm expecting here, like prolonged feudal to try and take an advantage.
And we saw that age up time come in for Beastyqt about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. We mentioned he did go for this berries at first. It does actually make you age up like a few seconds later, but he's going to be able to get his wheelbarrow right away since he has that mill belt, and his villagers, he can keep those few on food here during the age up.
Yeah, and Beasty, his TC booming is going to be like a hall pass that has certain limits on it, right? Where you have to stamp it. It's like, this one is no longer authentic. Because if he goes for too many TCs, this is going to fail. Ideally, you want to be going 2 and looking towards Castle Age as an optimal strategy. Here's the Abbasids. MarineLorD's goal is to goal keep that, right? He's meant to block your shots. He's meant to stop you from reaching that critical timing, all the while trying to just strike in and deal these decisive blows to your eco count. So watch for that dynamic, because Beasty, especially these type of choke points with the wood lines, could efficiently defend his eco against this with racks and just a few spearmen.
Yeah, and that if he moves any of his, how many villagers are on food right now? I think we have resources per minute on. I was kind of curious how many.
He's got about 5, maybe less. It's dipping hard.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering if he'll go over to that stone early on there in the Abbasid base, but yeah, he's got 2 or 5. Yeah, he has 5 still.
Yeah, and he might want to dip into the stone, but he needs to sort his wood first. His wood is nowhere near ready, so just switching over instantly now would punish you. I think Beasty's more likely to wait for fresh foodstuffs and then switch over the stone, because then you haven't got as much of a burden on your food income.
Yeah, and as far as Dry Arabia, very open map. Sometimes you like to put some small wall segments when defending against the French, but not really a ton of opportunity. There's a little, I guess, a forest in the front of his base with like a little tiny gap he could wall, but I don't think we'll be seeing many wall segments coming down here, at least in the early game.
Yeah, like realistically, he could wall to the left of his TC in the south, but you don't do that before the secondary TC. It delays your timing too much. It's 1 or 2 villages idle, and then all that wood is being spent on defenses when you need to start TC booming. So instead, use your wood to get into these racks, get, I'd say, 4 or 5 spears out, and then go on the stone.
He has a good little mass of sheep there underneath his town center. So he'll be pretty good there once he's finished up with his berries. I'm assuming he's going to fall back. So both players kind of got an even crack at those sheep. And we see the first knight running across the middle of the map, going to be looking to do some raiding. I'm kind of wondering what he's going to target first. Will it be the berries or will it be the wood line? Looking like he's looping around to the northeast, so he's going to be coming around looking to get a poke at those berryvilles.
And his timing might not be most fortuitous. Two spearmen have been pumped, and Beasty's got a benefit here. His food and stone line are right next to each other, so he's not necessarily going to get Benny Hills on this too hard.
Yep, there we go. Pulling the villagers, not getting hit by the berries, and I wonder if he'll just stay on the sheep now at this moment.
Yeah.
And getting a hit on that villager, but it's still alive. Oh, another one!
No blacksmiths.
Taking a smack.
He's got no blacksmiths, the problem here. And it looks like he didn't actually pump the villagers low with his scout. If he'd done that, then he actually would have sniped a villager there.
Mm-hmm. And we have the knight running away. Is there another one coming in? I'm not seeing any more coming across the map. And it doesn't look like on the mini-map that French is gathering stones. So that's definitely going to be a second town center in the works.
Yeah, this will be a second TC pull to the south side, but BC actually has scouted the area, so he knows this is coming. Should be able to react accordingly. He can make two choices here. You either go 2 TCs into aggression yourself, or maybe you even think about going for that fabled 3 TC situation, now seeing that the French are going to have a gap in their aggression.
Mm-hmm. And Knight's just running around trying to find something. Now, I saw we might not see in wall segments, but he did go for getting that southern gap there, but didn't get it in time. Oh, that villager escaped. Yeah, he got a little lucky there.
He did quick wall it up, so the blocking came in.
Oh, he did finish it.
That was almost a beautiful trap for BC. The idea was he was going to 3-prong assault and then gap close the knight, blocking off his escape options, but wasn't able to complete in the end. At least he gets walls up to contain him.
Scout going down for the villagers. Got their shanks out. Watch out.
This is actually beneficial the way BC's getting these engagements on his stone line, because every time this knight comes in, he's not targeting any of the several injured villagers. Sometimes because BC peels them back, but other times it's simply because he's putting the full health villagers on the outskirt of the formation.
I like how easy they make it look to like dodge the knights. They just sit there and keep gathering. Like if I see those knights coming, I'm running all my villagers. I'm losing 3. It's like they sit there and they'll just like take a shot, move around to the other side of the mine, and they don't panic.
Got it. So you're that guy who, when the zombie apocalypse happens, you instantly board up your house, but then realize you didn't get any toilet roll or food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When the pandemic hit.
When the pandemic hit, well, the toilet bill did hit as well. It went up because he had all the TP he needed to keep on flushing. Easy peasy.
Uh-oh, Knights moving in. They're going to probably get some villagers here, though, because the spearmen are up north harassing the archers. One villager going down.
More going to go down. He has to pull back. It's too long to build. Spearmen are now going to react, but that's problematic. That slows down BC. I don't blame for this. Remember, I highlight this as a potential play. You want to forward extend your base through this choke point to create a funnel point to play around. These are natural defenses you want to utilize. It prevents you having to go north and create that great wall of palisade to protect your flank.
Yep, and meanwhile, MarineLorD does have that second town center online. You think of the Abbasid as being the make a bunch of town centers civilization. But the French, they build a second town center, and they do it better. They train their villagers faster. Well, the Abbasid, they have their discount.
Yes, they have discount on food, whereas French, they get like small quirks, like the discount in the mining camp, right? Only 25 wood, so they can start gathering stone a little bit quicker because they don't need as much wood first. But overall, the Abbasids are the optimal sieve for getting a TC up that is sustainable the quickest. And what I mean by sustainable is you've built the TC, congratulations. Now, can you afford villages out of it?
Yep, look at that. Is that a tower just to see over that stealth forest? Yeah. So he doesn't want even though he's a town center there, a raid could pop out very quickly, get your villagers. So he's just using that tower for some line of sight, which is always a smart idea when you got stealth forest so close to your town center. Especially
when he wants to use the berries, right? The berries are right next to this. That would leave you vulnerable. It looks like he might be spotted putting the outpost up, but maybe has enough spears here to buffer away. He is up to 7. However, with 3 archers in the field, I feel like BC needs to get the wood together for a stable. Get 1 or 2 horsemen out.
Yeah, I guess he's just with the spear right now. He has to stay close to his town centers, right? Because he can't really take those archers in the open field. I do see some horsemen, so he must have a stable online, and he'll get some line of sight there. But I'm kind of wondering if MarineLorD is just going to work towards aging up here, or if he's just going to amass up, because Beastyqt seems to have secured his second town center. He's got those deer, those berries. There's a blacksmith coming on right now.
You don't benefit much from rushing Castle Age here. MarineLorD's goal is to get up to around 20 to 25 knights and then castle up. And he could actually end the game off of Royal Institute play. Beasty's goal now is to get enough horsemen to keep forcing that investment and then get the spearmen in good ambush points. This beautiful thing about this generation for him is if you look between the 2 bases, there's 2 critical elements to identify here. Stealth Forest left, Stealth Forest right. Now, MarineLorD has limited vision in these. If he gets gangbushed by a bunch of spears and loses a large chunk of those knights, he gets heavily set back on his timings, and then Beasty can think about castling up.
The whole front of MarineLorD's base is one giant stealth force. Oh, villager down.
And this wasn't such a stealthy move. Should have been somewhat obvious to Beasty, but he was greedy with his spear posturing. Doesn't lose too many villagers for it, though. However, a lot of idle time coming out in the Abbasid base.
Yep, there's knights running around. He's got those wall segments, but they don't matter. He's just going to run around it. But now we got some horsemen. Oh, another villager.
Whoopsie. He can kill two.
Oh.
Mid-swing on the sword. And you can see the overreaction by Beasty. Instantly, everyone comes because he's had enough of this. With this many horsemen, he can actually chase down and kill these knights.
And here comes the front attack.
In fact, I'd love to see him body block.
He knows that these spearmen are chasing.
So five horsemen's a bit difficult to body block. Like, once he gets up to 10, Beasty can start using these to go past and body block the knights so the spears can gap close.
I don't know if he knew that tower was there yet, but there we go. He's going to face that down.
Insta garrison aside, and the spears. Well, they are just waypointing in. They're not attacking.
What was that? The villager was repairing. Down.
Hey, got a min-max, man. Got a min-max. What were we talking about before? Villagers are cheap. Who cares? Oh, wait, that's right. It's 2 TC versus 2 TC. So, Beasty, you should care.
Yep, so we've lost a few villagers so far. Right now, villager count 54 for MarineLorD, 45 for Beastyqt. So, a little gap there, but the spearmen weren't on the front line to brace.
Yeah, to give appropriate French commentary on, if I was to assess this and say how I felt about the Abbasid game right now.
Yeah?
That's my comment. It doesn't look good. It really doesn't look. Look at the military count, like they're neck and neck, but the eco count is escalating. And keep in mind that that military count is deceptive because half of the army for MarineLorD is raw knights.
Yeah, and right now he's trying to boom up more villagers, but he's lost a few along the way. And now he's doing a little bit of a raid himself, see if he can pick something off. But the knights are there to stop him. He's just going to run away. And maybe he'll give him the old runaround for a while, but I'm not sure that MarineLorD will fall for that.
No, he can just pull off a few knights to chase that, keep on the defensive, and then start to dive in. The problem that Beasty has, he always has to be ahead on the cavalry count because it takes less knights to be efficient in raids than it takes horsemen.
And looks like a little wall segment going up of his own. He says that's enough of this raiding. He'll put down that palisade wall and we'll stop this horseman from coming in. And you see both players doing this. So
yeah,
learn from these guys. Drop some wall segments. It's good for stopping those raids. And I underestimate. I'm a dry Arabia. They're not going to wall those giant gaps. Yes, they will. But this is kind of the mid game. I was kind of thinking more of that really early section.
You have to wait. If you do it too quick, it's not just the idle time. It's the amount of wood you spend. It would have delayed his TC timing. That's why they've taken so long to do it. And you know, it's the posed threat. One or two knights can be frustrating, but you should be able to react to that. Now we're reaching a point where Beasty wants to raid, and that could be a distraction. Then he might not notice one or two French knights diving into a wood line that has 20 villagers working.
Mm-hmm. We have one knight going south. Looks like at the sacred site there's going to be an engagement there while the horsemen are all surrounding one knight. Oh, archers picking up several spearmen. 1, 2, at least 2 going down right there. Horsemen going around the wall, though. Yep.
Uh-oh. MarineLorD needs to pull back fast here. Has got the wheelbarrow, so should be able to disengage fast. But the problem is there's so many villagers and nowhere from the high. You can see he peels off the south side. He's going to make a palisade gate and go out the other way. And that means that Beasty, although he has the movement speed to back away, he'll only achieve idle eco, not that many killed.
Yeah, and losing horsemen here as they just get hit. I mean, he's distracting him a little bit.
It's a good distraction,
there we go,
but oh no. Look what just happened there, Fitz. This one knight just grassed. He snitched. MarineLorD now knows Beasty's teching up.
Yep, he looked by that. Now that was probably his goal there to go check it out.
House of Wisdom, remember, if you look at it, you can see the extra structure going in, and he was microing the knight through, so likely did get a glance of that horseman. And they can't hang around is the problem.
Yeah, they're not getting any villager kills. They're just running.
Yeah, and credit to him, MarineLorD, he idled a lot early on, but notice that wood line, he peeled some of it back, but the rest is still working because he realizes that Beasty can't hang around.
Well, at least he's distracting a large part of knights from harassing him in several different spots right now.
Beasty will at least clean up the knights at the backside. Tech up is almost complete. MarineLorD is in for the penny, in for the pound. No intent of going up the castle yet, but remember what we said about that knight count. Approaching the 20 mark, that's when he can start to consider it, and that's when he gets the big bang for buck. Royal Institute might even be on the menu.
I like how we don't ever even check what they're aging up with for Abbasid anymore.
It's like whoop-de-doo. You got a culture wing. Woo. Ooh, never saw that before. Maybe a military wing? Nope.
Front
They look
of the
different.
base. Here comes a French charge.
And the Spears are on a coffee break right now. There's
Yeah,
27 of them.
They were all in that one scout.
And oh, MarineLorD says, wait, is this free? Can I claim this area?
Oh boy.
Let me just split up and look for clues right now. Whoa, mass migration out of the villages.
Yeah, they got away. They ran around those trees.
Wow, MarineLorD's committed to the fight as well because he sees the greed. Like, Beasty's teched up. He hasn't got the value yet. It means he spent 1,800 resources on something other than military
A good little
influence.
surround of the spearmen here, though. This is kind of a nice positioning for him. All these spears on top of the knights.
I don't like this, Fitz. This is a dicey fight from MarineLorD. That's the phalanx. Abbasis Spitz.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're not veteran. Are they veteran yet?
No, but that's exactly why MarineLorD went, because they're not vetted. But it doesn't matter because you've got 2 times the amount of units attacking.
Wow, and got the archers. That was a cleanup for Beastyqt. That was just like perfect positioning. He charged in. He had like the 3-prong surround with spearmen, and you know, you get a lot of the spearmen in a mass, and they could be dangerous.
And MarineLorD, yeah, he's covering his tech up. He doesn't really need that many knights because he didn't go Raw Institute. But the option was stripped away from him because of this choice. And at the end of the day, BC still has a reasonable standing army. You've done limited to no economical damage. You are at least escalating on the villager count. However, this actually poses an opportunity for Beasty. If he moves fast, he can capitalize on this. If he sits back and continues to boom, though, it will once again be in MarineLorD's favor.
Yeah, and like, take out those knights. Those are expensive units. Those are big investments. Like MarineLorD's, we're going to agent up right now. But Beastyqt, even if that was like a bad, even if Beastyqt had lost that fight, it's not a big deal. There's just spearmen. He could make many more of them. But there we go. Continuing to kill more knights on the back line and getting those veteran upgrades coming in now at that discount since he went up, I'm sure, with the culture wing.
And this is his time. He can now move out. Beasty just got the upgrades in the Horseman, in the Spearman. He can start to move out in the mid-map. And remember, MarineLorD, although he began to transition to farms, he's also been supplementing with the gain. He's on the boar, he's on the deers, and this poses weak points in his economy.
And Abbasid, they're just continuing to get upgrades here. You see them getting those ecotechs right now since they are a little bit cheaper. Although for the French too as well, going to be getting their upgrades since they have cheaper economic upgrades. And we do see our first mangonel being constructed out on the field.
Understandable. You're going to Spears is the main reason you want to. You've built Spears as well, so you expect MarineLorD to continue the investment in archers, even if it's not that. The other logical choice is a format of knights and arbiters, and either way, those are ranged units that take bonus damage from mangonels.
Yeah, but we see the knights working on that eastern palisade wall, while meanwhile, what was it? A mid-map monastery out there.
Greedy boy, MarineLorD, he wanted his goodies quick. However, he's going to look to snatch Beasty's goodies as well. He did breach the back wall. The repairs weren't coming out from the villages there. A little bit surprising as he could have delayed that longer.
Yep, and we've got Springgold Tower taking some shots there at those knights as they run by, but Spearman in tow. And he really can't afford just to stop and take this Spearman fight, so he'll lose several knights.
Nah, and the villagers need to get out of dodge. They're going to wrap to the north side, but the scout love this out of MarineLorD. One scout in there so he can see where he's going. And they're leading to Moriko. Whoops. Spears.
But they're spearmen.
Yeah, the auto attack worked to his advantage there.
Can you get the surround there? Oh, any villagers going down? I can't.
He got none. He actually got none.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe they lose a single one.
But, well, here's the thing. Beasty got textiles, so it's even harder now. That's the problem. Even without that, you haven't damaged these villagers. You need to stand around for more strikes. You can't against the veteran spearmen at this stage. With phalanx, they do too much damage.
Yeah, I don't think this runaround strategy is really working a whole lot. And meanwhile, that monastery has been taken out to mid-map. I mean, I would like to see... Beastyqt is already grabbing his first relic. You know, you said sometimes adversary players ignore them, but he knows the importance of them. He's going for those relics. And, I mean, once he takes out these marauding knights... I mean, look at that horseman charging forward. He's going to be taking the pressure to the French base.
The best thing that can ever happen to you as an Abbasid player is to be reminded that relics are a thing. And I find when your opponent has a mid-map monastery that you burn down, it does wake you up to the fact that there are relics on the map. And Beasty, of course, a player that needs no introduction, he loves going for this late-game exploitation, that infinite gold trickle. You know, if there's a player that more often than not finds himself in a hyper late game with the map drained dry on Dry Arabia, the guy has to be Beasty.
I like that you built those 2 mangonel there, just chilling there at the front of town. So they're ready to go for later, but those are the reserves.
Oh, you know what they say, Fitz? Never go full melee. Technically, he hasn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I go for a horseman spear, mango all the time. I love this.
That's what I mean. Yeah, technically, you've got range. You're diversifying. You're not HREing it up.
And right now we see a sacred site actually being capped to the north. And Beastyqt bringing his 4th relic home.
Oh,
is he going to get that knight?
That might go. Yeah, that's going to go. Oh,
Might get it.
No. Oh, my God. It's the conversion on
what
death.
A train.
Knew it.
We've got an Avicid Royal Knight. Welcome to the dynasty.
It's like one of those movies about like the French knight that, betrayed his nation to protect the locals in a holy crusade, right?
Not before killing the religious
Not
leader.
before. Oh, that's how the story starts, right? Like he doesn't trust the person, he kills them, and then he realizes that his master, his tutor in that situation, was actually doing something for him. And then he goes on a crusade to avenge him, even though he's the one that killed him. Don't ask me the flaws in this plot line. This is like 2022 script writing. This is pretty much how films work.
He's got those 2 mangonels as those archers are there mid, and he saw that shot and said, hey, he backed up. He knows he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He tries to go for that. Beastyqt now has 3 relics in the bank, and I thought he got the southern sacred site. Yep. And he keeps working on this wall on the west side, but I don't think he's gotten through.
He's slowly going to breach his way through, though. The problem for MarineLorD is he can't give over much ground. Like, remember, his reserve resources are limited here. Didn't really have much in the back corner in comparison to what Beasty had, which means he has to hold a forward line, and that's why he's now building up the keeps, which will also inflate his production rates through the fact that he can afford more.
Interesting seeing Beastyqt dropping that 3rd town center as he's just about at 100 vills already.
It's typical Beastie. He doesn't stop at 120, 130. This guy goes at 140, 150 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He just wants to strip them out. MarineLorD, move faster. Too late. Why, hello there. Were you guys trying to do something back here? Can I come in? Don't mind if I do.
I don't think they're even killing villagers. They're just like are leading this chase.
They do. When you see someone clustering like this, you punish it.
Yep. Okay, keep coming out mid-map, taking some map control, and I think he's going to slowly creep across.
BC loves doing this. BC, the magician, right? The sleight of hand. Like, oh, watch this hand, but what's the other one doing? He always does this. He splinters groups, he sends them around the back, he baits your attention, then strikes somewhere else. And now, because you draw attention elsewhere, it's just a pivot. It's a back and forth. Benny Hill's mode activated, and MarineLorD is the clown running around.
Yep, we've got Spears kiting back, waiting for the Mangonel to take a shot, but I think he's just being careful that it doesn't get popped by Knights. They're turning around, going to take a shot, but I think they're at the Knights. Yep.
They are. But the Spearmen are backing up into the choke point where they'll be able to hold. The Mangonels get full value now. Baits him in range. He's going to hold in this area. And now the keep. The keep is also a problem. Adding a lot of damage in. The Spears are getting somewhat wiped, but the damage being done to MarineLorD is going to be hard felt.
Yeah, he did lose a decent amount of spears, but he can afford to keep bringing it.
I mean, think about the Knights.
Plenty of more.
Like, if you check the health bars on them, there's Mangonel shots added up, as did the Spearman. Like, he's losing too many. Spearman's also being targeted down as they're trying to deal with the Mangos. You can see he's intentionally taking the Knights because you know they won't move. And they're the premium unit.
And there's horsemen still raiding up to the north on his farms.
They never stopped. They're torching down buildings now. They're like, come out to play.
And all those villagers keeping that wall up. Yeah, I feel like the walls are kind of closing in on MarineLorD right now, and I'm sure Beastyqt is just getting ready to drop his next keep. Look at that, 1,400, 1,500 stone in the bank.
I'm not going to lie, I make that Boomer reference a lot, and I haven't even watched the movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Warriors? I only know about it because they made a video game. It's like it's a very famous scene where he clanks bottles together. He's like, "Warriors, come out to play." Pretty much that voice.
Well, yeah, someone needs to clip that.
It's horrific acting, but it was an improv. Apparently, it's a very memorable moment. 1980s, I think. I wasn't even born then.
Now, looking at the eco, MarineLorD, despite being raided, you never know. He's got 134 villagers, 116, 117 for Beastyqt right now. So it looks scary, but he's still got plenty of villagers. But a lot of them have been running around playing farms.
No, wait, no. Come on. He never completed the wall.
Ran through again. Oh, boy.
Well, luckily, MarineLorD has a lot of villages that he can expend, as he still is notably ahead of Beastie by 16 villas.
Yep, with the horsemen getting caught up by the knights there. More siege units. Looks like we have 3 Springals, the 2 Mangonel we started with, and he is trying to train a trebuchet, but he is pop capped.
Oh, love the medical centers, though. Medical centers are going to be coming out for Beastie. So that's going to stabilize him on the front. And also notice that MarineLorD's gone into Trebs, but he hasn't protected with anti-siege, so you can maybe sneak in or just ride in with the Horseman. The Horseman count keeps escalating, now up to 28 for Beasty. Looking to break through more walls. If only he just looked a slight bit to the south, he'd realize he doesn't need to torch this down. And MarineLorD going up.
Up to age 4. There we go. MarineLorD heading on up. I don't think Beastyqt is. He's got, although he has 4K gold, he could certainly buy the next age if he wanted to.
Oh, look at that. Why go around, go through the palisades when you can just go around them? Nice when people chop the trees down.
So 3 sacred sites online, in addition to 4 relics in the bank for Beastyqt. That is a savings of 700 gold income for free.
Wow. However,
And the horseman continuing to run around.
He's going to need a lot of food to replace the villagers if they get stopped upon right now. Interesting that MarineLorD is prepping horsemen already, but we'll see if that switch up works. I guess you could actually roam horsemen plus knights, and you have like cheap cannon fodder with premium units if you ever get a chance to snipe.
We've got archers there. I guess anticipating another big spear push up at that front line. Is there any trebuchet action going on that French?
There's only one now. He lost one of them. He wasn't paying attention. The Springles moved in. This is a problem right now. It's like these raids are drawing his attention. MarineLorD completes the tech up, but let's think about what's happened here. A lot of knights going down. Horseman count not looking great. You only have archers. You don't have good siege. You need a solution. You need it fast. I believe he went for the College of Artillery, and the play here might be to go into Reboldiquins, considering your opponent is massing spears.
Yeah, look at the spearmen working on that town center. How much gold is left on that western gold vein there in Beastyqt's base? Because I feel like eventually... I'm sorry, of MarineLorD's base. Yeah.
Or maybe 1,800?
1,500, yeah.
It's looking ugly.
So like, I kind of feel like he needs bombards to get out of here, but he's going to run out of gold as keeps are set up on the gold veins across the map.
Maybe Guildhall could be a saving grace once, but you're going to need it more than once. Like Beasty, he's doing his typical play here. You can say he's got like miss macro issues, but the whole concept is he's just bulking. He's taking resources, finite resources away, and he keeps pushing you into your base. And yeah, MarineLorD already taking the resources out there. He might be hard stuck in the gold department.
And down goes that town center. Now going to be working on that monastery. Oh, big snipe. Royal Culverin coming in.
Oh, baby. He needed
Did
it
those
as
guys
well.
one-hit those Mangonel, or was that thing damaged?
It should one hit.
Oh,
takes out the Springles at
gosh.
1. It's got 102,
painful to watch.
and then his bonus 180, was it, I think?
I mean,
high.
in a blink of an eye,
Boom.
MarineLorD just wiped out all of Beastyqt's siege, but I mean, he has a 5.5k gold in the bank, but...
Man, rename that guy McCree and say high noon. Like that was just like an only going off in Overwatch. Bam,
that was
everyone's
a high
gone.
noon. I can appreciate that reference.
These raps keep coming in from Beasty, but he's heavily discounted now. He's resorting to more keeps. He needs to as well. Like, look at the stone he's gathered, 1,600. This is actually going to be one belonging to MarineLorD because he needs that finite resource. But keep in mind that behind all this, Beasty's just throwing crap at the screen to see what sticks, because look at what's happening behind this. 7 minutes remaining on the Sacred Site timer.
I like how the sacred site just pulses on the minimap the whole time, because you need more notifications that there's something going on. I mean, some people don't even catch that though, and they're like, "Uh-oh, sacred site."
Isn't that fun? Like, I work really hard to take all 3 of these sacred sites, and then I obnoxiously get it pinging for me. My opponent gets it pinging for him, so I guess it's fair. Sure, why not?
I would rather have like the sacred site timer, like no pings on the map, and then as every minute crosses off, like one of those. Remember that town center ding ding that we had when the game came out? Like, just do that once a minute, and so you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, still need to worry about this.
I would rather have a sacred site timer countdown as a spectator. Thankfully, we do have it here. Shout out to the EGC team on the back end for putting that together. Why that is not in the standard spectating tools will always escape me.
Yep. Trebuchet taken out. I think maybe going to get that Abbasid keep at the front of the base. And a French keep maybe going up. I think he's going to get this, lose a few villagers along the way.
That's a lot of stone as well. He's going to need it. It's very efficient for the French. It's not just the idea of stable defense. There's also the military bonus you can build. And well, speaking of military units that you would build, they've already made their way deep into the base of Beasty. That's going to delay. And Beasty maybe doesn't mind the delay, because what's happening right now behind this is that he's also now teching up.
Yeah. Honestly, MarineLorD, he's been sitting here in age 4. He's got kind of the tech advantage right now, and he needs to make something happen here. But both players got plenty of villagers. We've got plenty of game left here. We can see Knights running around the Abbasid base right now, causing problems, but Spearmen in tow.
I always love when Knights get confused and they're like, am I here to pillage villagers or mate with this other horse. They start rubbing up against their comrades. Like, not the time, Jimmy.
Oh, villager attack. They're
You
all
have
being
spear,
pulled.
I have stabby. That's all I need. And now look at that. The 4 base is coming out, MarineLorD. I don't think you can try for a landmark snipe.
Oh, he
It's
saved
very
his keep, still
difficult.
alive.
Yeah, I don't think you can try for a landmark snipe here. I think MarineLorD's goal should simply be to build horsemen and rush the farms at the back to slow Beastie down. He just teched up, but as we can see, and as MarineLorD will probably sense, his food numbers are not good.
Now, I know I jumped the gun the earlier game, but we definitely have camel riders out on the map now.
Ooh, you're right, we do. And I like this. Good solution to what MarineLorD's doing.
Look at that wall.
Yep, he's like, any wall right now, emergency walls. He's going to complete it in time as well. Oh, wait, maybe not. Oh my God, no!
Oh no, they forgot to close the gate.
I would not
they
pay
didn't
the
all get in.
contractor for that. Yeah, only a few get through. We'll pull
I hate
back.
when that happens.
So let's talk about these camel riders and why they're so good. These camel riders are so damn good because your opponent's pushing horsemen right now. Well, guess what? Camel riders get that nice little swiftness to them that puts them ahead of the horseman speed. They're able to gap close and stick on top of them. It's very effective because you do get bonus damage against all cavalry with these camels.
Mm-hmm. And right now, he's just continuing to put more palisade walls across the map. Sacred Site timer at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And is there a keep on each of these sacred sites? I see the southern one being capped right now.
Yeah, south one's being decapped. That's the weak point here. Raiding in the center as the cannons are starting to come out. And there's going to be a reaction coming out from Beastyqt. But meanwhile, south side, double keep. MarineLorD, no, we can't do it.
No, that's not going to be enough.
I actually think this game is over.
Might be over. He just stopped this middle. Oh, yep, this is going to be it. He stopped that middle push. He stopped the southern push.
There's bigger issues.
There's just villagers, yeah.
There's so many big issues here. Look where he is for his wood right now. He's about to come in contact with Keep. His gold is bad as well. He's got loads of food, but he hasn't got the other resources to build constantly here. He set up all these proxy bases, but he can't afford the units out of him. He's looking royally screwed. He can't afford his Royal Knights that could rush in and maybe stand there long enough, and he doesn't have the siege to get through the outskirt keeps. He has to go through the center, and that's why Beastie's guarding here.
And with his limited gold, he's losing them right now to the horsemen, and he's not. Beastie's got gold in the bank for days, right?
Yeah, he's feeling good. Wood was maybe the limiting factor, but he has mid-map control, so he can play for those clusters of wood lines. And yeah, I was talking about MarineLorD. He needs whatever he can get. However, with the camel riders coming out, like, it might make him hesitate a little bit about the horsemen. But to be honest, you need them just to stand on the site. You need something that can quickly get in there and get a decap.
Yep. So we've got. Kind of wondering here, as we get under 3 minutes for the Sacred Site victory, where is MarineLorD going to focus his strike here for the end? I haven't seen any action on that northern Sacred Site yet, though I see something moving towards it. Maybe those are villagers up there.
It's going to be villagers for Woodline, more likely than not. And the problem I see right now is, like, that might be your only play north side. It's the only place you haven't tried in the last 2 minutes, so BC might be caught off guard. And yeah, he doesn't even care to try for it. GG gets cool. Beastyqt, methodical approach here. Good identification on the sacred sites. MarineLorD with a drained out corner cannot even think of coming back into this.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this game really had a big swing in Beastyqt's favor after that big fight in front of his second town center there, right there in that mid feudal age when he lost all those knights. And I felt like after that, Beastyqt just started to take dominance over the map and kind of controlled the pace of the game from there.
Very good identification there, actually, because what that came down to is we talk about this throwaway army when you're teching up. Usually,
look at that. You can see it. Look at that graph. Look at the military count. I mean, that's it right there. That was the game.
Exactly. And to just like dissect this, because I think it's very important to kind of highlight why this happened. You're pushing knights in. That's a premium unit going to be throwing away. Sometimes it can be worthwhile. What was going through MarineLorD's mind is while he's not teched up and hasn't upgraded these spears, I can trade out well. However, I feel like MarineLorD did not account for the phalanx. Phalanx allow double the amount of spears to engage.